2013 Toastmasters International Speech Contest in Cincinnati, Ohio, last August. After joining the Capital City Toastmasters in January 2010, Reid blew through his Confident Communicator manual in 6 months, but he videotaped all of his expected mistakes along the way and reporting every single mistake on his blog. And every scary minute of it as well. So Reid is a life coach for business owners. The title of his keynote today is Why Toastmasters? Help me welcome Reid Walley.
Thank you, Jennifer. Repeat after me. Two more times. Read that with purpose. One more time. Hold it. Hold it. That is your sorbet for the morning. To clear you from the waking up this morning at 6 a.m. to now. Why Toastmasters? What are you doing here this morning? You could be somewhere else. What are you doing here? Why Toastmasters?
I like
Something in you made you, at a certain point, decide, I'm going to join Toastmasters. Back over here in your history. Wait a minute, that can't be right. It started back when you actually visited your first Toastmasters club. Something distinct and unique to you made you decide to visit a Toastmasters club. The very first time, actually that's not true, but that's a big fat lie. Way back here in the beginning, when you decided, I am sick and tired of being afraid. I'm sick and tired of being beat up by my management, by my bosses. I'm sick and tired of shaking whenever I have to get up to speak. I'm sick and tired of having sweat drip down my forehead when I have to get up and speak. I am sick and tired of having to run to the bathroom and throw up. It's exhausting. I'm sick and tired of being afraid, of being made fun of. I'm sick and tired of forgetting what I'm going to say. I'm sick and tired of not being clear. I'm sick and tired of being ignored. And right then, you decided to be a superhero. Why Toastmasters? Like my yellow card says on the back. So you can be a superhero in the real world. This is not the real world. Toastmasters is one of the best places to be to catch you when you fall. It's a soft landing. It's the perfect landing. Everybody catches you when you fall. Not in the real world. Oh, clunk. Make fun of the people who fall down in the real world. But when you come to Toastmasters, cotton balls, hammocks, soirees, lovely dance scene on a boat, but not in the real world. Darren LaCroix, the 2001 world champion of public speaking, said, Toastmasters is the place that you come to practice screwing up. Because it is terrible to practice screwing up out in the real world. It sucks to practice screwing up out of the real world. You can't practice a speech out in the real world. That's why you came to Toastmasters in the first place. That's why at this point in your life you said, help! Toastmasters I've heard about my whole life. Maybe they can help me. I put it on my schedule 4 years ago. I'm going to go to Toastmasters and check it out because I want to do something scary to change my life. Scary! Everybody Somebody told me, nothing's scarier than public speaking. I'll do that. I'll do that. I put it on my calendar, January 15th, 2010. And I didn't go. Because it's scary! The next Monday, I got in my car. I drove over to Sutter Fort. I went around and around 2 times. I couldn't find a place to park. The universe is telling me I don't have to go to Toastmasters. But that's not why I got in my car. That's not why I drove 5 miles to get there and find a place in the rain. I found a place to park. I got out of my car. I walked across the park. I went into the Cancer Bueller Center, walked into the elevators, and pushed the elevator button. Whew. Doors open. I got in. Turned around. Went up to the 7th floor. Doors open. I got back out. Where's 717? Where's room 7? There's 717. There's 717. Across the hall. I walked over. I reached out to the doorknob. Well, 3 times the charm, right? I opened the door and everybody turned around and they looked at me. And it took me right back to 3rd grade when I walked into the classroom halfway through the semester. All the kids turned around and looked at me, and the teacher, Mrs. Bowles, meet our new student who doesn't want to be looked at. He's in 3rd grade and he got here from another school halfway through the semester. He doesn't know anybody. He's scared to death. Look at him. Everybody. And I walked into the Toastmasters room, and I sat down very nervously in the back and watched and listened. And then somebody said, can we get some volunteers for table topics? What the hell are you doing raising your hand? I participated in table topics on my first visit. What an idiot. Scary! And completely worth it. When you get a chance to do anything in your life that is scary as hell, raise your hand before your brain knows what's going on! So that you will have to do it regardless. Why Toastmasters? So you can be a superhero out in the real world. I love Darren LaCroix's quote of Toastmasters is the place that you go to practice screwing up. That's all we need. We need a place to go to practice screwing up. Because in the real world, we just get beat up. Now that I've been in Toastmasters for 4 years, all the brand new first-time guests that come in, I always ask them, what did you think? Scary, huh? And every single time they say, you know what, you're really friendly. You're really nice. Everybody's so supportive. And I have to ask them, do you not get this in the real world? And they say, no! We get stomped on. We get stabbed in the back. We get made fun of. From 2nd grade all the way through high school, all the way through college, all the way through our careers, we get spat on. There's no room for error. No wonder nobody wants to go to Toastmasters. It's the place where people learn how to speak. That's exactly why you, leaders, are in Toastmasters. You are the light at the end of all tunnels. First decided I'm changing everything. I'm going to go visit my first Toastmasters club. I'm going to join. I'm going to go through my CC manual, all 10 speeches, in order, maybe. And then I hear about this thing called a speech contest. I didn't come here to be in speech contests. I just came here to be here. But if you want to be a superhero, it's 2 parts. Speech manuals Speech contests. Manuals contests. Guess what? It's February. It's contest month. We go all the way through to May. All the speech contests are not filled yet. You could enter one. It's vastly different from the manual contests. And it should be. It's completely different on the stage side, up here. In the last 10 years of your life, what have you regretted? What have you regretted for the last 10 years over here? Everything about it. What over here on the next 10 years? Regret nothing. Do the hand raise before your brain knows what's going on. Shake it out. Wipe the brow. Before you step on stage. Step on stage and experience the shaking knees like I did when I gave my first model speaker speech. And I couldn't get my jaw to stop shaking, and I couldn't get my hand to stop shaking, and I saw the speakers go in front of me, and I thought, ooh, that's scary! But you as leaders, when you meet a new person who comes into your club, they're scared to death, and they'll never admit it. But you know. You came into your first Toastmasters club, you joined, you went through the manual, you entered a contest. You know how terrifying it is? And the beautiful techniques that Toastmasters teaches us along the way. The safe place to fall in a bowl of cotton balls does not exist anywhere. And you are creating it by being here today, Saturday morning, when you could be anywhere else but here. You're manifesting the destiny not of just your lives, your children, your grandchildren, your coworkers, your boss, your employees, your investors, your board of directors, your parents, your in-laws. You're becoming a superhero by being here this morning because you started way back there and made a decision to visit, join, and participate. As leaders, you sit at the same table next to the person who's just walked in halfway through the meeting because they couldn't find the place. They're embarrassed as hell. They did what I did and spent 5 seconds reaching for the doorknob to turn it and open it and realize, I'm experiencing time travel. Why do I feel like I'm in 3rd grade being all embarrassed again? Being picked on, being bullied in 6th grade. When I turned to my classmate next to me and he poked me in the eye with a pencil, and I turned to the teacher and I said, he poked me in the... She didn't want to hear it. You do not get supported in the real world. You get supported here. You get supported here. In January 6, 2014, Michael Bay walked out on the stage at CES, the world's largest event, the Consumer Electronics Show, with hundreds of reporters in the audience and hundreds more waiting to hear his product sponsorship for Samsung's new huge television. He began to read the teleprompter, and then the teleprompter failed, and Michael Bay, who is, by the way, a huge worldwide Hollywood film director, when you see a Michael Bay film, you are in for a ride of your life. He stood there, froze, and the host graciously on the other side said, Michael, tell us about the awesomeness of it. It broke. Hundreds of people in the audience. It's the keynote of CES, the largest event in the world. He's a big-time film director. He makes awesome films. And then He just ran off stage. He just ran off stage. Unbelievable. And my Toastmasters heart went out to him. All of your Toastmasters hearts are going out to him right now because... Why Toastmasters? Because Michael Bay does not need to suck at public speaking. Oh, he's over here. All right. Oh, he's over there. Table Topics is one of the best ingredients that I've ever come across for what Michael Bay went through. The teleprompter decided to mess with his day. He could have learned to ad-lib on the spot. He could have learned to redirect his ears to the very generous host question. He could see what was transpiring and everything that was going on in the tubes. It was a huge nightmare on Twitter, a huge nightmare on Facebook. Michael Bay went back to his computer a half an hour later and wrote a big fat apology on his blog. He admitted, I really embarrassed myself this morning. I am so sorry. I went to Twitter, I found Michael Bay's Twitter handle, and I emailed him. You need Toastmasters! I would be happy to help you, Mr. Bay. I saw you at CES. I feel for you. It was only a short 70 seconds. For us. But for Michael? That is a lifetime of agony. Walking over hot coals. Not the Tony Robbins type, but the painful type. And then to bail. A professional getting paid to promote a $1,500 monitor, and you bail on stage? That's the problem that the mafia knows how to take care of. Why Toastmasters? Because you fill all the tunnels of all the people around you with light. And they don't even know it yet. In 6 months, they will realize she's really confident. We put her to task, boom, she did it. And she did it well. Because nobody picked you 3 years ago. They knew you stumbled. They knew you didn't have it in you. Toastmasters puts it in you so you can be a superhero, keep it all. For your parents, your children, grandchildren, your coworkers, your employees, your investors, your boss. When you get asked on the spot to make a report, hold it. Breathing energizes the brain, it energizes the body. Breathing energizes your future, energizes all the people around you, calms you down, so you can take on all your opponents. You breathe properly, you become Bruce Lee. Why Toastmasters? Because you're a superhero. And now that you're here, your job is to turn to the new person next to you and tell them, I can make you a superhero. I've been through all the speech manuals. I've been to the contests. I know what the fear's like. Nothing scarier. Look at Michael Bay. I hope he goes to a Toastmasters meeting. He's already got everything else. He sucked. He sucked. And he knew it. And he knew he could do better. He just didn't know how to do better. That's why I got on Twitter and told him, dude, all you need is Toastmasters. Because everything else you do is awesome. Is that my green card? Thank you. I've been to Cincinnati last year and competed and took second place in the semifinals at International. I'm ranked in the top 18 worldwide at Toastmasters at the International Speech Contest. I don't know how that happened. But I can tell you it happened because Toastmasters gave me a soft place to land. Toastmasters gave me a place to experiment, make mistakes. And I want to open the questions to you. I want to do a little Q&A. Do you have any questions for me about how to prepare for a contest competition? What did I do in Cincinnati? How did I prepare? How did I write my speech? What do I do before game time? Happy to answer any questions. Q&A time. Minda.
What's the difference between the small stage and the big stage? The biggest difference?
500 people are in the audience at the big stage. And here, when this is full, 150? And that's a mind game for you. That's a mind reset for you. That the audience should be just a mass of people, and you are the same with them. They're not above you. They're not below you. You're friends with everybody in the audience. It's a mass and sea of people.
How do you change your speech from the small group to the big group? If you were to give this topic to 50 people, or if you were to give this topic to 500 people, how would you change your speech?
I would change it one way. I would literally physically walk further to this side of the stage and physically walk further to this side of the stage. And to be honest, I would run to help make a point.
Do you change content at all for the large room?
No.
I've noticed some Toastmasters are very expressive with their voices and their gestures. And to others of us, it takes a lot of conscious effort, and even then, we're really, really clumsy. Some of that seems to come naturally, but how do you achieve this, which you do very well?
Thank you.
A lot of natural movement, or did you focus and rehearse and stand in front of the mirror? What was your technique?
I focused to make sure I didn't use too much hand movement. That was a great evaluation from my area governor, Kevin Rim. Reid, you do too much of this. Yes. I had to tone it down so that it was appropriate. But the large hand gestures are in alignment with what Patricia Fripp says. Be yourself on stage, but a little better. Because with 500 people in the room, you have to do this to get to the person in the 18th row. Because you're this big.
I noticed you have for these discussions incredible eye contact. The kind you're supposed to do when you're not just running your eyes back, but you're actually focusing on people as well. You know, 500 people, how do you give that effect? Is if you are making eye contact, when you've got a huge audience, what's the trick with eye contact there?
So what you notice me doing here is exactly the same when I was in Cincinnati in front of 500 people.
You just concentrate on the first two rows, though, or how do you let the person back and get the idea?
I purposely look to the person in the back, and then look to the person in the middle, and then look to the person in the front. Even with 500 people, I can't see their eyes actually if they're in row 36. But I look at that head. Hopefully they're looking at me.
And you actually go first and second.
Yes. Yes. I don't dart around even with 500 people. Because the effect, like you noticed, is the same. How I practice making eye contact, there is nowhere in the world where you can go and practice making eye contact. Barely even in Toastmasters. There's no time to get up and practice eye contact making, like Patricia Fripp recommends that we do. Patricia Fripp recommends it at a Toastmasters Club meeting. Everybody should get up once and spend 15 seconds just staring at somebody's eyes. And it makes a huge difference when you practice eye contact in the real world. And I recommend making eye contact with people who are paid to look at you. Service people, baristas, cashiers, restaurateurs, anybody who is paid to actually look at you as a human being. That's the only place that we have to practice making actual eye contact without being arrested for being a pervert. Oh. Have to answer more questions?
Reid's available.